I have a question for you. Let's do a quick thought experiment, and then I'll ask the question. So say that you were robbed of $1,000. Somebody hacked your bank account, or they held you up at gunpoint, or whatever it is. They robbed your money. And then somehow you had a crystal ball, and you could see how that money was spent. So the thief, of course, they spent some of it on themselves, like food and entertainment. And then they also divvied up some of your money and gave it to their friends and even some of your neighbors. They wanted to be generous for whatever reason, right? And then they even, strangely, tried to help you with your money, or at least claimed to help you. So they sent you some groceries and some new shoes and even a new TV. Okay. Now, with that being said, I mean, maybe you like some of the groceries, maybe you didn't like some of the groceries. It's hard to say because the thief took your money by force, right? How the hell would they know what you want and what you're willing to pay for? In any case, here's my question for you. Would you be more angry with the people who received some of your stolen money, right? In this case, like being your neighbors and the friends of the thief. Would you be more upset with them, or would you be more upset with the thief themselves, the person who originally stole your money? They took it by force without your consent. Well, if you're like most sane people, you would say the thief, right? Like, sure, it's kind of a moral gray area if somebody's receiving stolen money, or maybe they didn't know it was stolen, but certainly without a doubt, you should be more upset and angry with the person who just directly robbed you. Okay, great. So we've got the thought experiment out of the way. Now, what I find really ironic is that people can see this very, very clearly, but precisely the exact same thing is happening. It's really not like there's no weird stretch or like bending reality or weird analogy going on. It's really precisely the exact same thing happening on a large scale with the government. In this case, let's say the United States government. The government is taking people's money by force through taxation, and they're using it for various things, claiming to make your life better and to give it to the surrounding community and make roads and schools and all this, that, and the other, to fund police and the military. And people are very, very upset with immigrants, illegal immigrants, for coming in and becoming the beneficiaries of these things, right? Getting to get free protection and drive on the roads, and in some cases, like actually get welfare checks or, whatever it is. They're soaking up resources. And yet people can't see, like they would rather do mass deportations and tighten up the border and make it really, really difficult to become a citizen and go through all kinds of like mental gymnastics and be pissed off at immigrants at the same time and, send out ICE to round up and deport people. But nobody's even thinking or talking about like, hey, why don't we just turn off the theft? How about we just stop getting robbed by the government? How come nobody's talking about that? Now, the reason is because people have been brainwashed for 12 plus years in government schools to believe that taxation somehow isn't theft, that somehow we have this weird alternate reality where taking somebody's property by force doesn't amount to stealing because, and then, out come the gazillion justifications like, oh, well, it's democracy or constitution, whatever, all of these insane excuses that just fall totally flat on their face. So that's all I have to say is like, we should try to be consistent. We should try to see reality for what it is. And if you want a much more concise, straightforward solution, you should be upset with the government for stealing from you rather than the people who naturally are following incentives. And, who would say no to getting free stuff? Okay, like, welcome to reality. Not everybody is going to be a saint. If the government offers them handouts and the benefit of other people's stolen money, nobody's going to say no to that. You can't blame them for that. You would do the same thing in their shoes. So think clearly, have principles, have a spine, and recognize the real enemy, which is the state.